Well, hello from a rainy Finland. So friends, I got my Transit running again. I'm really glad now. It has been in use now for 3 weeks already. And in this video I'm going to tell you everything I did, kind of a repeat and a recap of everything I got through and did to this van. And I'm also going to tell you the solution that I find out so I could get this running again. I've been driving this now for 3 weeks and it's just one small thing here with this car that bothers me still, but I will tell you that later in this video. So let's begin. So it all started a year ago. The van was not running great. It could stall every now and then when I had it standing on idle, and it became worse at time. And at that time I was changing the EGR valve and some other stuff, also the clutch and the throwout bearing, and I didn't really bother to find out the problem and the issue with the stalling and rough idle. But in last summer it kind of got worse and worse, and it eventually came out to that point that I couldn't use this car anymore. So I've been fighting the stalling and rough idle issue now for half a year, and I've done many things to it, and I've spoken to many people, different kind of workshops, and to you also. I have made maybe 10 videos about this car, and I have gathered them on a playlist on my YouTube channel. So if you are interested, please watch them. And yeah, I probably have asked the wrong people all the time because we couldn't get it running. Okay, so here's all the parts that I've changed out this year. So if we start from the beginning, in January I think it was, as I said guys, you can find everything on the Ford Transit playlist. Everything I did and where everything is located on the car. So if you wonder that, please go check out those videos. So first I was thinking it was the EGR that caused the bad idle, and then I swapped out this EGR valve. This is old, but I think it was working. But I have a new one now, and I tried also, I did test to plug the EGR valve with making a washer with a small hole. I think it was 6 mm hole or 5 in the middle, but it kinda went on half hour and then the fault codes appears. So I did remove that. This is just for showing you. I have already scrapped that washer, so I don't have it here. This is just a gasket for it. But swapping out the jar, it didn't improve anything. And then I was feeling some vibration in the clutch pedal when pushing soft on it. And it was the throwout bearing, so this is bad. So I did drop the whole gearbox out from the car and change this out. This plate, pressure plate, and the clutch plate. It could have run with this, but with time they can get some play in them, so they start vibrating. So you better just change everything when you have the gearbox off. So yeah, but the clutch got very well and was done successfully. And then I did swap out the wheel bearing also with those, yeah. And then I have dropped the gearbox. I also did change the drive shaft bearing and the drive shaft seal to the gearbox. That was leaking a little bit. So, and yeah, then I noticed my AC compressor was leaking. So I did remove everything because I don't need it. Yeah, I almost forgot. Here I have the mass air sensor and the air pressure sensor. and I did swap out these with new ones, and that improved nothing. So it wasn't these also. Yeah, and I could not find it now, but I did also swap out the crank sensor. So I have a new crank sensor in the gearbox or near the flywheel. And then I did also clean the camshaft sensor. Yes, now it's time to tell you about the bad idle and the stalling issue. Yeah, so in this summer it got worse and worse, so I couldn't drive the car anymore. Basically, it won't stay running at idle, but if I got some RPMs on the engine, I could drive it a little, but it was stalling 10 times when you went somewhere. So, yeah, then I tried. I bought a new suction relief valve, a pressure release valve, and the pressure sensor. And I swapped out them, and the car was still stalling with no success at all. We was thinking maybe the ECU, the engine control unit, can be faulty because I read on the internet that especially these Fords, they can build up some moisture in the ECU box and start not running so great. So I took the ECU box apart. It's raining here outside, so it's not so. Okay, let's take a look. I can show you here quick. There's the fuel filter. Here under we have the engine, the injectors, the rail sensor, high pressure relief valve, and suction relief valve. And here is the injection pump. And once again, this injection pump does not get any fuel pressure from the tank because this car, it has not a tank pump. It's from I think it's somewhere 2012 when they started to have tank pumps in the fuel sender unit. But this car is sucking the fuel from the tank. Yeah, back to the ECU stuff. Here we have the ECU box behind this cover. And we was thinking about the electrical issues here. So I was going through everything, the electrics here on the car. Cleaning every terminal, checking every fuse and relay, both here and both there inside. So here inside you have 3 places where you have fuses and relays. So everything was okay. And also here. Nothing new here. Everything was okay. And I cleaned also every ground wires, every ground connections on the car. Everything was really checked, and yeah. So then I send off, I will go in. Yeah, I did send the ECU, the engine control unit, to a specialist, and they checked my control unit and they said it was okay. So I got it back and installed it, and the stalling issue was there still. Yeah, then I was wondering with some guys and also here on YouTube if it can be some shortage of fuel. So then I started to renew and pull out every fuel lines in the car. I replaced every fuel line and connection with rubber hoses directly to the fuel filter, And I also killed the injection return line, the drainage that comes from the top of the injectors. Before it did go through the filter, but then I killed it and put it right into the tank. So I was eliminating every possible air leak on the fuel system. And then I dropped the tank from the car. And one guy said, it's the fuel pump in the fuel sender. So I dropped the tank and got out the fuel sender. And in the fuel sender unit, it was not a pump there inside. So then I understood that it's only on the newer Ford Transits that when they started to have tank fuel pumps. So I I installed the tank back again, and then I was still thinking that the injection pump was running too dry and it was shortage of fuel. So I did install a 12-volt click pump, mainly used in tractors. Uh, I bought it from a hardware store and for €100. So I installed that click pump directly on the fuel lines near the tank. And with that click pump, it was very easy to bleed the air of the system. I was just putting on the switch and the ignition to get it to click, and it was building up pressure in the lines. And then I started, it kind of improved for a second, but the stalling issue was there still. Then, then I ordered a new injection pump, new to me but old used from a scrapped car. So I swapped out the fuel pump and was hoping that now it will run. But no, it didn't run. So now I have a spare fuel pump here for the future. Yeah, and when I was going down the rabbit hole of the injection system, then I also figured that maybe I should test my injectors. So I sent all 4 injectors to a shop and they tested and they figured that this injector was faulty. It was leaking 5 times more than it should from the return here. So I eventually bought a new injector and installed all the new 4 injectors with new seals on the valve cover and with new copper washers and with new bolts. And these bolts, they are just 2 bolts. Shout out to the guy that designed this fuel system. The Transit have 4 injectors and they are tightened down with only 2 bolts. So it's really bad, I think. Yeah, and here you can see I have 3 different suction relief valves. This was originally on the Transit. This came with this guy, the injection pump. And this I did bought in August. And none of these was working on my Transit. The engine was running differently with every valve, but the issue was we couldn't get the fuel relearn done with these valves. I got the car running so good that I could drive to a specialist, but we couldn't do the fuel relearn with these 3. So I ended up buying a fourth, a really expensive one. It was Denso, and the pump is also Denso or Denso. Yeah, there you can see. Hungary. I'm hungry too. And as soon I got it, as soon I got the fourth suction relief valve in place, I started the car, and it was running the same as with these, but with few variations. But I did drive to the specialist and we plugged the computer, and all of a sudden the fuel relearn was done successfully. For those who don't know, the fuel relearn procedure, it takes around 15 minutes. Yeah, and when the procedure is done, you will see if it was done successfully or if it failed. But this time, with this fourth suction relief valve, it did go well. So here we are in 17th of December, before Christmas. Now I will start the engine and you can hear how it sounds. Yeah, it's running really great now. So I'm really satisfied now. But when driving on the road, I can hear a clicking sound. It sounds like it comes from an injector in one cylinder, and I'm afraid that it can be the seat where the injector copper washer is laying. The seat there can leak, so it may be that. Eventually, if I'm just driving now, it can start clogging up my whole valve cover room where the valves are and the camshaft and stuff are. So I'm really wondering if I should pull the injectors off again and check if they have leaked somewhere. And maybe after this video, if somebody of you may know where the clicking sound would come from. It's just a small click sound thing, but it drives really good and runs really good. So I don't know if I have the nerves to still pull the injectors off, but tell me in the comments what I should do. Should I just drive, or yeah. But guys, I want to thank you all that have comment and tried to help me along this trip. Uh, it has been useful to read your comments, but guys, in general on this channel, it's really hard to answer all the comments that I get, because if you are writing a new comment, my phone will say it to me and I will see your comment right away. But if you are writing a comment down somebody else's comment, then I won't get the message, and then I eventually, time to time, go into the video and check every comment if there has appeared a new comment under somebody else's comment, and then I can answer to that. So it's easier if you write a new comment, not under somebody else's comment. Then I will see it right away. So I hope I have answered every comment, and excuse me if I haven't. But yeah. Yes, but thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.